Batman's Grave, issue 2.
Yep.
This is Warren Ellis writing, Brian Hitch on the art, and this is easily the quickest read I had all week. Because if you remember my description of the first issue, it ended with Batman finding the killer hiding in the floor under the crime scene. The first 2/3 of this issue is just a fight scene as this guy tries to sort of escape from Batman.
I bet it looked good though.
It did look good, yeah. It looked very good. It flowed very well, so it's not a complaint. I actually really enjoyed this fight scene. I love how this guy looks like. He's got this big crazy hair. It's like I guess it's like a clown, but it's like, you know, he's completely bald at the top. He's got the hair at the sides, but he's got it kind of like completely sticking out horizontally into two big sort of wavy points. It's very over the top.
Okay.
Very psychotic. So now this guy is fighting tooth and nail with Batman. He's maniacal in the eyes. He's looking very crazy. Yeah, it's just this big fight scene. They end up going out the apartment, down the stairs, out the window. And eventually, you know, Batman puts him down, and that's the end of it. He drops him off with the police. They do note here that the police do kind of like consider trying to shoot Batman. Batman's like, I'm not in the mood. It's been a long night. And it comes back later with Gordon when Gordon says, "Hey, I heard about what happened with the cops. I'll try and make sure they don't shoot you," kind of thing. But when Bruce goes back home with Alfred, Alfred's having a hangover. Okay, if you remember, he was miserable last issue with all the thought of Bruce dying and whatnot. So he's talking about how bad he feels. He's like, "I'll get you coffee in a minute, Master Bruce. I'm feeling terrible." And he's like, "I'm feeling terrible too." And he's like, "Hey, how about tonight you drink the full bottle of whiskey, and I'll go out and beat up some underprivileged criminals." And Bruce pours him some coffee. It's a sweet scene. You know, it's kind of a funny, you know, banner scene. There's a scene with Gordon on the roof. Gorgeous art here, actually. There's a shot of the bat plane coming like through the signal, and sort of hovering over Gordon as it's raining, and you know, Batman comes down. Really pretty stuff, actually. I can't believe I'm saying this about Hitch's art, because I've not necessarily in the past been super into it. But I guess he's improved. I guess he stopped pretending he was a writer, and that's improved his art, I think. As cruel as that sounds.
That might be true in the sense that he's not writing things that he wants to draw because he thinks it'll be fun to draw. He's drawing what the story actually needs. Yes.
So Gordon gives him another case, basically. Gives him another case. A murder, yeah. So, you know, and Batman flies off, and you know, it ends with him in the cave, basically just saying, "Hey, it's time to look at this," and it answers or brings up this moral question where, it's like, "Hey, this guy that died, like, if you'd caught him and sent him to, you know, Arkham or whatever, he'd probably get shanked and die anyway." And Bruce kind of says, "That's not the point. He doesn't deserve to be murdered." So it's kind of like questioning the morality of what Bruce does. Case isn't super interesting yet, but I mean, it's kind of a weirdly paced story overall in terms of the whole book, in the sense that the case we spent all the first issue on, we spend half of this issue finishing, and then it kind of introduces another one by the end. So we're definitely doing like a multiple cases thing here. If they end up all sort of somehow kind of tying in, I don't know, at least thematically probably, but
you won't know until you see at least another one or two of them.
Yeah, but I enjoyed reading the issue. It flowed very well, and I like the Batman and Alfred dialogue a lot. So, yeah, it's a Batman book if anyone wants to. And it's him dealing with like serial killers and, you know, crimes that aren't just like, "Hey, the Joker's out of Arkham again," like, you know.
Yeah.
So potentially interesting. So I'd give it a solid 8. Solid 8 out of 10. Batman's Grave.